What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy Neal back with another reaction video. Guys, here we are back with our girl Haley Alexis. How I know America, USA, had to be specific with it, messed me up since living in Germany. I'm intrigued. We're going to go ahead and dive in. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Also, social media and Patreon all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Follow the links in the description. All you got to do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. What we got?
Hi everyone, what is up? My name is Haley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you did not know, now you do. Hey you guys, what's up? So in today's video, y'all, you have asked, I have delivered. A lot of y'all have been commenting under my videos with links to videos of Americans talking about how the United States messed me up. I'm going to be making my own version of this video. I'm going to sprinkle in humor, but a lot of these points are very serious. And so with that being said, let's keep this intro relatively short, quick, and simple. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget, ooh, my fingers were not the cutest there. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section. So
everything she just said to do for her video, make sure you guys do that for mine too. Thank you. Keep it rolling.
Ooh, my fingers were not the cutest there. Don't forget to leave a comment down in the comment section. So starting with funny and easing into more serious points, y'all. The first thing that I can talk about is, or are, the vegetables. I don't know what it is, but I do know what it is now. But when I first came to Germany and I started eating stuff, especially raw vegetables, I always wondered why it tasted so weird. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. If you know, you know. And it only happened to me when I lived in Germany and then went back to the United States after like being here for a year or two. And I don't know what we do with food in the United States, but we just add so much. And so eating vegetables in Germany, I sometimes feel like I'm eating very healthy. I mean, eating vegetables is healthy. It's also normal. That's also a shock for me. That's how I know if the United States messed me up, when I ate one little piece of paprika and I really thought I was moving mountains with my health. No, Haley, you're not doing anything eating that one little piece of paprika. This is also the same with a lot of different snacks and unhealthy food options.
Your boy Neal, I'ma just go ahead and start it out by saying I don't eat vegetables. I don't care what country you put me in. I'm not messing with no vegetables. I just don't like them. I don't eat vegetables. That's just who I am. Cut that part of the food pyramid out of my diet. All right, keep it rolling, Haley.
This is also the same with a lot of different snacks and unhealthy food options. When you come to Germany and you get cookies and then you compare it to an American cookie, and the American cookie is 20 times sweeter, even though the German cookie itself is already very sweet. And so that took me a very long time to get my, taste buds and just my body acclimated to this change. And so I knew the United States messed me up when I came to Germany, ate some vegetables, and thought to myself, ooh, why does this taste so bland? Or why does this taste like vegetables? Why does this taste so healthy? It's because I was used to every single freaking vegetable of mine stir-fried, sauteed in a pound of butter and oil. And that's not healthy, and that's not normal, and that's not how you should consume vegetables on a daily basis. I'm here to tell you, if you're an American watching this, don't do that. You're probably an American and you do that. I promise you, don't do that. No. So the next point, you guys, is actually something y'all pointed out to me. And I wasn't even like thinking in the back of my head, in the front of my head, anywhere in my head, that this could actually be an issue. But then I sat there and I reflected and I was like, wow, y'all are really right. But when I got sick in the United States and I called off of work, I felt guilty. I felt bad, even though I was sick. And not even that I felt bad. Sometimes my employers made me feel bad. Like, are you sure that you can't just come in for a few hours? Are you sure you're missing the whole day? But we are a family, Haley. Are you just gonna leave your coworkers to fend for themselves? It's gonna be so hard if you're not here. And oh my gosh, how are we supposed to survive without you? And then of course you come hobbling in sick as a dog, work, because you feel completely bad. And in the United States, companies, corporations like to say we're a family. And they do this so they can brainwash you to make you feel bad, to not call off or do anything that you wouldn't do to your family. Now, granted.
Hey, I had to because Haley, I had to stop because Haley preaching right now. Cause Haley preaching nothing but absolute facts right now, nothing but the absolute truth. Thank you. Yeah, we're a family. You know what I'm saying? And when you're sick, where's the care? You're supposed to care about me. I'm part of the family, right? Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Are you really gonna leave your coworkers like that to fend for themselves? You can't come in for a couple hours, bro. I'm sick. How about you ask me, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Anything we can run by the house? Is everything good? How about you, if we're such a family, why aren't you worried about my health? Come on now, Haley, keep talking.
Bad to not call off or do anything that you wouldn't do to your family. Now, granted, if I get sick, my family deuces. You won't hear from me. You won't. I'll come out, out of my cocoon when I am a nice little butterfly, feeling better after I'm sick. But back in the day, I was not like that. And so this trickles down from like work culture, family culture, or your family culture trickles down into your work culture. And it's like a pseudo mind game that companies play with you so they can get more out of you. I think I would be the worst employee in the United States. They would probably hate me in the United States because I'd probably start a union. I would band together with everyone to try to get better workers' rights. But I would also be the employee where they say, are you sure you want to call out? I'd be like, F those people, F this company. I'm sick. I care about my health. Y'all don't care about my health. You don't give me no health care, no good health care, no good health insurance. Why should I care about y'all? I probably wouldn't say it in that exact tone, y'all. I would say it in a more respectful manner, but you would get the point. So the next point is
I got the point. I know what you mean. I know when you're talking, I hear what you're saying, and it's touching my soul because I'm relating with it, Haley. Yeah, you ain't finna get me like that. These employers, these bosses. No, you don't make me. Don't try to act like you care about me. You don't care about me. You care about my production, and that is all.
Exact tone, y'all. I would say it in a more respectful manner, but you would get the point. So the next point is going to be turning down surgeries and procedures when I go to the doctor. This doesn't happen anymore for the most part. I would say like 99.9% this doesn't happen. But when I first got to Germany, you guys, I turned down so many different procedures because I didn't know how the system worked. I always thought when a doctor was explaining this extensive medical care plan that it was going to cost me an arm and a leg. And so I would listen. They probably thought, what the heck is wrong with this girl? I would listen. I would take in everything that they said, take the paper, take their advice and say, thank you, but no. I never said, why not? I just would always say no thank you. I usually wouldn't follow up. I wouldn't go to the doctor's appointments. And I don't remember what exactly was the tipping point. I think it was when I had my surgery in 2016 or 2017, I don't recall. And I went to a specialist. I told her my issues. She told me, hey, you need surgery. And in the back of my head, I thought it was gonna cost me like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. I wasn't really concerning myself with that. I had the fear in the back of my head, but I was more focused on my health at that time. I think like I took a turn. I was like, I need to focus on my health because I know this isn't helping me. I'm not getting better. I'm not doing okay. And so after I got out of the hospital, I think it was 3 or 4 days, I went to the front desk. I asked for the bill. I asked when they were going to mail it to me. And they said, oh, well, you could pay right now. And I was like, girl, I don't got money like that. I'm like, hey, you want to pay right now? Do y'all accept credit cards from the United States? And she's like, it's only 30 or I think $40. And I was like, for what? But when's the big bill coming for the surgery that I had to stay in the hospital for 3 days? And she was like, what do you mean? Like every time, you guys, when I'm asking about money at a doctor's office, in the beginning of my stay here, it was always like, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean, girl? And so from there, it goes into my next point. And that is when
yes. I mean, we've seen many videos that bring up the point. It's just healthcare is ridiculous. She got all that surgery, all of that done for $40. And I know she has to pay more in taxes, but it's not more than what that procedure would have cost her. It's nowhere near than what that procedure would have cost her in the U.S. She paid nowhere near that in taxes. And so, know what I'm saying? She's straight. Straight. Straight like that. I love it. Keep it going, Haley.
You mean girl? And so from there, it goes into my next point, and that is when I went to get procedures done that were maybe extra. They weren't covered by my insurance. There are certain things that I get done just because of the surgery that I've had in the past that I feel like are necessary, but they aren't really medically necessary. And they cost me about, I would say, 90 euros a year. And so I remember the first time my doctor was explaining this to me, and she was like, yeah, it's going to be extremely expensive. It's going to cost more money, but no big deal. We can work with billing to where they send it, instead of today, they send it in 2 to 4 weeks. So then you have like 2 to 4 weeks to pay. And so you have a little time. And her saying it's 90 euros. And I was like, girl, I got enough Kleingeld. Like, look at my purse. I could probably find 90 euros worth of coins in there. I'm like, here we go. Let's go. It made me realize what expensive is, or like the sharp, contrasting differences of what expensive is in the medical world in Germany and the United States. In the United States, I'm thinking expensive, I'm thinking $1,000+.
Yep.
The lady at my doctor's office is saying that 90 to 100 euros is expensive. And the thing is, when you have such high sums like in the United States, you start normalizing those numbers. Like, oh, you're only paying $500 for this test. And for an American, you're like, oh, well, that's not bad because last year I had to pay $750. Wow, I'm getting a humongous discount.
Now.
But in reality, that same test overseas costs $50, 1/10 of the price. So the next point is going to be donating paid time off to coworkers. So something that is common and happens in a few businesses and corporations in the United States is that employees will donate some of their paid time off to sick employees. Someone that I know has cancer. They work a full.
What business was that? I ain't never heard of that. I ain't donating your paid time. Americans would do that? I ain't never heard of nothing like that. Did she say in America or that's Germany?
In the United States is that employees will donate some of their paid time off to sick employees. Someone that I know has cancer. They work a full-time job. They used all of their paid time off. They used all of their sick leave, and they had to basically beg all of their coworkers to donate 1 day of paid time off so they were able to stay home for a few weeks while they were recovering for chemo. I think I've told this story before on my channel, but I just wanted to bring it up again. Some people donate 2, some people donate 8, some people donate a couple of days, who knows? Throw in a week because I'm not going on vacation anyways because I gotta stay here and work 60 hours a week. That happens, and then you give it to the person, they're able to take their time off, and the corporation or the company just sits there and says, wow, you guys are so generous, you're so helpful, you are heroes, you are so amazing, while they sit back and do nothing. I literally used to think that this was like I said, heroic and generous of people, but I just realized that it's corporations being greedy assholes with literally ice cold boxes for hearts. As a company, when I see one of my employees that has cancer, that has a life-threatening illness, disease, or sickness, and I say, you people over there, y'all need to do something about your family. And this is also what this is why they do this little family trick, because then it's easier to say, would you want your sister to be sick for 2 weeks with no payment, and you have all of these vacation days and these hours that you're not using anyway? Would you really want that to be your family member? And if this isn't an ethics code violation, I don't know what else would be. The next point, you guys, is going to be something I talked about in my previous.
That's crazy. I find that absolutely wild. Because the company is getting let off the hook because of the employees are donating their paid time off, and the company that's crazy. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? So the company is not like family. It's just that your coworkers, they want y'all to be your family, but the company could care less about any of you guys. And I've always noticed that. And while working, I was like, they really just care about you being there, producing for them. If you can't produce for them, they have no need for you. They don't care about you.
I don't know what else would be. The next point, you guys, is going to be something I talked about in my previous video, and it is that GoFundMes are not normal. I used to think this was an amazing option. I mean, it technically still is for a lot of people because so many people fall through the cracks of our system in the United States, and thankfully, there are people that are charitable and generous out there that can help these people that aren't our government, but I digress. Now I realize that this is not normal. This is not okay, that I have to turn to random people on the internet to have my best interests when it comes to healthcare in the back of their head. So the next point, you guys, is going to be something that happened to me, I think last year, right? Is that when I ended up in the hospital for a week? I'm gonna tell you guys a story. I don't remember if I told this story in the video when I talked about going to the hospital, but when I was at the gym, I was really pushing myself on the machine. I mean, really pushing myself. I'm not the pinnacle of fitness or health here, you guys. So think of it my max, which is probably not the max for a lot of people. I was working out relatively hard, and I was feeling something happening while I was working out. I stopped, I ran upstairs, I laid down on the bank at the gym, and I just told myself to lay there for 10 minutes, you know, let your body relax, let your body like cool down. 10 to 15 minutes pass of me laying on this bank. Nothing happened. Shaking, sweating, feeling like I'm gonna throw up. My body's like cramped all together. I'm sitting there in my full workout clothes, just like shaking. And so I'm texting Mike, hey Mike, I think something's really wrong. And he's like, oh yeah, just come home. And I'm like, no, really wrong. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I think I really need to go to the hospital. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I just don't know if I can call the ambulance or if you should call the ambulance. I don't know what to do. And he's like, if you have to go to the hospital, Haley, then call the ambulance. And I'm like, but are you sure? And I'm like questioning in my head if I should really call the ambulance, if I should really go to the hospital, or if I should just sit and wait and hope for the best. So Mike calls the ambulance. He comes into the bathroom with me at the gym. The ambulance shows up. They got to put me on the stretcher, roll me out of the gym. So embarrassing. Late at night, sweating, nasty, looking a hot ass mess, and drive me off to the hospital. And in the back of my head, I was thinking to myself, Haley, it's fine. You're in Germany. You can do that. But I still had this hesitation, this resistance to get into the ambulance or let them come and check me, because I was still like in my mind, I can't let the ambulance come because they're going to charge me $1,000 to transfer me to the hospital and I don't want to pay that. And it was like stress.
Yup, exactly. She's spot on with this story, you know what I'm saying? And I can imagine, yeah, after being in America so long, even traveling, going abroad and living somewhere else, you still you have that hesitation in the back of your mind because that's you're not used to just being able to call an ambulance, hey, come pick me up, without having to stress about what it's gonna cost you. You're not used to. You know what I'm saying? You're used to figuring things out without having to go to a hospital, without having to go into an ambulance. You have to figure it out outside of that, where you're not putting your health first. You know what I'm saying? Because putting your health first means you're gonna go bankrupt, basically. But okay, keep it going, Haley.
Me $1,000 to transfer me to the hospital and I don't want to pay that. And it was like stress pure. I was honestly debating if Mike's mom, because they were on a trip somewhere driving back to our house, if they should come to the gym, pick me up from their way home, drive me to the hospital, or if I should take an Uber, if I should ask someone at the gym to drive me to the hospital. I was honestly in the back of my head just buzzing. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And that's the last thing you should do, want, or need when you're in an emergency. So the last and final point, you guys, is going to be semi-controversial, and it is going to be, I know the United States messed me up when I thought fireworks were gunshots, y'all. Now I do have to say, let me, how do you say, preface this by saying that I grew up in a relatively rural country town where hunting, shooting was quite normal. My grandma lived on 12.5 acres, you guys, and if it wasn't a deer being shot, it was a turkey being shot. And so on the weekend, during the week, whenever, you would hear gunshots. It would be quite normal. People were hunting. That's what they did. So there are certain types of shots that I can differentiate between, or maybe different types of guns that I can differentiate between. But there are some times, you guys, when I'm in Germany and I hear a firework out of nowhere that I'm like, what the fuck? We got it. Oh, duck, I don't know, get down low on the ground, y'all. We gotta dodge bullets here left and right, or like a very loud noise of some sort. My first reaction is to think it's a gunshot. And to put it into perspective for you guys, I've also talked about this on my channel very briefly. We had 2 gun incidents at my schools. One was at a middle school, one was at a high school. In my middle school, a kid brought like a little BB gun to school, and he shot out a few of the lights, and like he put a hole in the window. I don't know if he was doing it because he was cool or he thought he was being cool. Don't know what the reason was, but that happened. I tried to look through the news archives in my old city to try to find a story about this, but there's nothing in the newspaper about this, which I find to be so shocking that it was never reported. It was never talked about. It was just a little kid brought a BB gun to school, shot up some windows, shot up some lights, no big deal, hush hush. And then the next time that a gun incident happened at my school is that a kid brought a gun to school. I think we were maybe like 12 to 14 or 15-ish, and I think he was going to try to shoot the kid that was bullying him. I don't recall 1000% what happened. I've told the story before though. Someone saw he had a gun. Cops came, shut down the whole school. We had to lay on our stomachs for hours in the dark with the doors locked, waiting for cops to come, sweep the whole school, sweep our backpacks, pat us down, make sure we had no weapons whatsoever, and then we went on like it was nothing. And sometimes I feel like I have PTSD, which some of you guys might laugh at me, and that's perfectly fine, but it is not normal for a loud noise or a loud pop to, in your brain, create a connection to a weapon trying to harm you and create this fight or flight response inside of you. You can be scared, but you can't be scared that you're gonna get shot by a gun. That's not a normal connection in the United States, yes, but every other place in the world, it's not. And so yeah, those were all the points, you guys. You can let me know if I missed some down below in the comment section. Other than that, I'm going. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I love y'all. Have a wonderful day, and bye.
She has a very it just ended perfectly. It ended perfectly.